Welcome to Completely Biased Sports. I am your host, Kevin Ronayne, and joining with me today is Jacob Zimlin, Jacob Fritz, and Ben, the Fat Man Schumacher. Well, I'm going to let you guys go ahead, talk about a little bit, and introduce yourselves. Zimlin?
Hi there. All you need to know about me is I love everything about Tampa sports and Florida Gators. That's my bias.
That's your bias. All right, Fritz?
What's up, guys? Along with Zimlin, Tampa sports fan, Bucks, Bolts, Rays. We'll get into the Rays a little bit later on, but also a UCF fan and Orlando Magic. Anything to do with Tampa and Orlando, really, when it comes down to it.
All right, I'm going to jump in right after that. This is Ronayne. I am the New York guy. Family's from Brooklyn, so everything New York sports, Mets, Giants, Rangers. Big time New York fan, Notre Dame fan, and I graduated from the University of Florida, so a big time Gators fan as well. All right, now I'm going to pass it over on to Ben.
Hello, I'm Ben. Family's from Wisconsin, so obviously a Green Bay Packer fan, so the Chicago Bears suck. I'm a Philadelphia fan, and that's really about it.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and start moving into our first topic because that's a little bit about ourselves. The first thing, the biggest thing that happened this past week in sports is the NBA draft. So the first thing, obviously, we got to talk about the man himself, Zion Williamson. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to read a little bit of Zion's stats. He averaged 22 and a half a game, essentially. Almost 9 rebounds, 2 assists a game, a ridiculous 68% from the field, and honestly, just under 34% from 3. Not that terrible. He only attempted like 2 a game, but that's not terrible.
Don't forget a broken shoe.
And yeah, he broke that shoe real good.
In half.
So I just wanted to ask you guys, what kind of career do you think Zion's gonna have? Go ahead, take it away.
It's gonna be garbage at the start.
You think it's going to be garbage?
He's going to be playing for the Pelicans. So the best player on the team for the Pelicans, as soon as Anthony Davis got traded, is now, Drew Holiday?
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday's an all-star, though. I mean, not as great as an Anthony Davis. I do agree, though. I think the Pelicans are going to be not great. If anything, I think the highest their ceiling right this season is getting like a 7th or 8th seed in the playoffs. But I mean, it's all rookies this season with Zion, and then the potential of having DeAndre Hunter. Well, actually, no, that's not even going to be. He got traded as well.
He got traded.
So who was the other one?
Lakers are currently in discussions to trade this pick to the Pelicans, who were poorly traded to the Hawks. So the Hawks want to trade Jackson Hayes.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, regardless, it's just a team full of rookies. It'll have some vets, but it'll be tough at the beginning. I think people are going to judge him way too harshly at the beginning, as with any top 5 pick. They're going to expect him to come in, dominate, and then not allow the development of the player. So it's going to take a few years, at least, for Zion, because he's still he'll be 19 next year.
Yeah, he'll be 19.
He's still 18 right now, though. Like, he just got drafted number 1 overall. Could you imagine being 18 years old and you just got handed the keys of a franchise? I mean, the last time that happened was to LeBron? I mean, with this much hype behind it, at least. I'm not comparing him to LeBron. It's not comparable. He's not LeBron. Like, you just stated, he averaged what percentage?
68 from the field.
Yeah, it helps when most of your shots are dunks. So I'm not discrediting him. He's very talented. He's very athletic, but he's not known for his shots.
Because the dude is one of the most athletically gifted people I've ever seen on this planet.
That's great.
It is insane what he's able to do with his body, and the jump sideways. and just the moves to get through the lane. Yeah.
But think about who's going to be covering him in the NBA. These guys are going to be the same size as him. He's not running against college players.
He's the second biggest player in the NBA based on weight right now.
I was going to say, for his height, like, nobody's going to have just be able to have the weight behind him to guard him. I do agree. You're going to have to put somebody way taller than, or somebody that's over Zion 6'8", so you're gonna have to put somebody that's 6'10" on Zion.
6'7". Yeah, you're gonna have to
if he plays in the post.
Power forward. Yeah, he's gonna play power forward. My comp for him, or someone that he reminds me of, especially coming out of college, was Julius Randle.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think
that's unfair because
I didn't think Julius Randle. I think he's better than him. But I didn't think Julius Randle was going to do anything in the NBA. And what did he average last season?
I told you Julius Randle was going to be good. You didn't believe me.
Nah,
personally, I hate player comparisons just because every player is unique. I mean, there are a lot of players that play similar to a professional counterpart. But like Zion, I remember watching highlight videos of him when he was like 8th grade, 9th grade, like a few years back when I was in college. Like, true, I knew if I didn't watch college basketball this season, I wouldn't have known anybody except for Zion. And for even people to say RJ Barrett was going to be the number 1 pick coming into the season, the college basketball season, I don't even know who RJ Barrett was or is. Well, now I do, obviously, after watching Duke this year and all that. But Zion is like, he has so much hype behind him. And I hope New Orleans has the patience, like at least the fan base. I think, obviously, the franchise will have the patience, but the fans need to have the patience for the entire team to develop and have just one cohesive unit to really make themselves successful. Because I think now with the pieces that they have around them and what David Griffin's doing, because let's remember, he did build the Cavs to what they were. Granted, just a lot of so-so pieces around him. But what David Griffin's building in New Orleans is going to be really great.
So the only reason I want to debate that is, and I guess this kind of goes into the whole Lakers, who won the Lakers-Pelicans trade. Pretty sure the Lakers did because they traded away pieces that have never won. Lonzo has no shot. Brandon Ingram might not play again, possibly. And who else they get? Josh Hart?
Yeah, Josh Hart.
So Josh Hart is a decent player. He's not. He's not bad. He's young. But the point being is they traded away the best player on the team who asked to be traded. So it was a win-win for them in a way. But between the two teams, the Lakers didn't lose like a career superstar. They lost just guys who are young. One of them doesn't even have a shot yet. The problem with Anthony Davis, the whole reason Anthony Davis wanted to leave was not because he wanted to become a Laker. It was because the Pelicans never put anything around him. So now we have the same issue where here's Zion Williamson and here's a bunch of young guys from the Lakers who never really accomplished anything. And you're going to, well, hopefully they'll build in the future. No, they need to strike now with this big free agency and the money that they have. Now, they're not going to because they're New Orleans. But the thing is they don't build around him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good he is. He'll leave. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Lakers did need to win now. What's the cost of winning now? 3 players and 3 first-round picks in the future. So the Lakers have to win in the next 3 to 4 seasons. If LeBron's contract is the next 3 seasons. Who knows if he plays after that? Who knows if he resigns? So you got to think of it as a 3-year window. They have to win in those 3 years, or in my mind, that's really considered a failure because you're trading away assets. And let's not even talk about the guys that they traded, but the first round picks. Granted, those first couple seasons or those 3 seasons, they may not even win the lottery, but you can find a diamond in the rough, just like what the Raptors did with Pascal Siakam, with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was not a lottery pick. Kawhi Leonard was like 15 or 16.
Yeah, he was just outside of it.
Yeah. So it's very possible for the Pelicans to find that, but at the same time, it's hard to develop a young team when there's no clear leader. Like Zion is going to be the leader, but he's also 18 years old.
I disagree with that because they do have a star.
Yeah.
He is I think at least he's been to 1 All-Star game. I'm pretty sure he's been to like 2. 2 or 3.
Yeah, but he's not a leader of a team. I wouldn't. If you told
Why
me
not?
Okay, hold on. If you told me Drew Holiday could lead the Pelicans to the conference finals, not even the NBA finals.
I don't think they have enough talent.
It's not going to happen. So
Well,
that's
no,
what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that they're going to go to the conference finals. I think what I'm saying is Zion isn't going to be the leader right away. He can develop and then eventually become the leader. I'm saying Drew Holiday's the leader now, and whether or not they win a couple games or they're absolutely terrible or whatever, Drew Holiday's the leader of the team. And maybe eventually halfway through the season, Zion learns some stuff from Drew, and then eventually takes the reins and goes, guys, this is my team now. Let's do this, and we'll help each other out. It may take him a half year, 2 years. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, he's still 18 years old.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot of time and a lot of development.
He's gonna ball out.
Zion's going to be good no matter what. It's just how good is his career going to be? And I mean, that's hard to predict, but I can tell you this.
He's going to be a baller.
Unless they build something around him, he won't retire in New Orleans. He will go somewhere else.
I mean,
he'll go somewhere else anyway because another organization will be like, here's a fat stack of cash. Come play for us.
and here's 3 other All-Stars.
Yeah, here's 3 other All-Stars with you as well. You're going to win a title.
That's why, I mean, with Zion, you're sitting there, and the Lakers trade, it's a bad trade on the Lakers end because they have to, for the next 3 years, in order for them to build a team around Anthony Davis and LeBron, they have to use free agency. That's not going to work very well.
I will argue about that later.
Okay,
Yeah,
other than this free agency that's coming up, which has an extraordinary amount.
Trust me, Ben.
No, but you're giving the Lakers gave away their future to bank it on free agency, which is not a way to run a.
What, those 2, at least 2. So they gave away the 4th pick. I think that's the only pick that they gave away that's going to have any value. Because once you're outside of the lottery, honestly, in basketball, once you're outside the first 5 picks, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed a superstar. Unless it's like a super rare draft with all these guys and all this bench talent.
But it's still
you're
the
going to get
fact
someone
that
in free agency better than some kid in the draft. Absolutely.
But it's still a fact that you're giving away hope. You're giving away other things.
No one gets hyped up about picks in the 18 to 30 range.
No, but it's not that. It's more the fact that it's okay. What happens if there's nobody in free agency in the next 2-3 years that they can get their hands on?
Doesn't matter, dude. I can pick up Pat Bev.
Let's think about it this way too. For a rookie contract, like the Lakers just traded away 3 already determined contracts for the next 3 years. Like for free agency, any free agents that come in, are going to be a heck of a lot more expensive than a rookie contract. Because the rookie contracts are like 20 to 30 million over the 4 years of the contract.
Depends on the
and that's on the high end of the first round. Probably top 5 picks are in that range. It's already predetermined. A free agent coming in. Like, let's take a look at Rajon Rondo this season. Rajon Rondo was a $9 million contract for 1 year. Like, you're not gonna find a lot of players that are gonna be willing to, maybe because it is the Lakers and LeBron and Anthony Davis, players are gonna want to take a pay cut, kind of like with the Warriors. But there's no guarantee. And with GM LeBron at the helm, who knows? Because we all know it's not Rob Pelinka's team, right?
All right. Let's go back.
All get that.
Let's go back to the draft class. Who do you guys think will be the best player? 5, 10, 15 years down the road, who will people say is the best player that came out of this draft class? Zimlin?
So I want to say Ja Morant, but it's probably going to be Zion, honestly. Morant's got the stats. I mean, he averaged almost 25 points a game and 10 assists. He averaged a double-double, for his last season in college. That's very impressive. But Zion's a monster. The guy, if he can develop a shot, he is going to be that guy in this. He'll be the most talented. I don't know who's going to have the most success because we're talking about the top 3 picks all went to terrible teams. I think the Pelicans have the most future. Like they have the best future because they got all the draft picks and there's some hope there with Zion. Murat's going to the Grizzlies, who are notoriously terrible, and do not even get me started with R.J. Barrett at the Knicks, the worst owner. Granted, the Knicks might cost the most money, but the team is terrible. If they're so great, if that's such a great organization, they would have won. They don't win. They're awful, and he's going there, and he's going to have these other 2 guys. Zion's going to have pressure just because he's Zion, but New Orleans isn't going to cause that pressure. Ja's going to have pressure because he's the second pick, but it's not going to be because of Memphis or the Memphis media. RJ's going to New York, and New York is not patient. They're going to want wins immediately. He's the number 3 pick. In their mind, they got the number 1 pick. He's already the best player. To most Knicks fans. I'm not saying you, but most Knicks fans. But he's going to be going into an area where they're going to expect way too much way too soon. And especially because they're probably not going to get anyone in free agency. All the pressure is going to be on him.
Yeah, we'll talk about free agency in a couple minutes.
I know, but it's just in general.
So Zion and Ja. You think it's Zion and Ja?
I think.
All right, Fritz.
Yeah.
I think in terms of, I mean, Zimlin's kind of looking at it from an offense. I think on a defensive end, I look at a guy like DeAndre Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
He is just an absolute pest. And looking at the tournament this year, and even last year when he was a freshman at Virginia, he was just an absolute monster. Could get his own shot if he really wanted to. It kind of wasn't really Virginia's system. It was more team basketball. But if he really wanted to get his own shot, he could. But I mean, I just look at his defense, and he's just a big guy and guarding other small forwards and maybe shooting guards and whatnot. It's just going to be a real pest-like defense, kind of like a Tony Allen. I'm not saying he will be Tony Allen. I think Tony Allen, where he struggled, was on the offensive end, and but I really like the DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter. All right, Ben. Who do you get?
So my 2 are going to be DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, because Atlanta. Because out of the top 15 picks that happened, Atlanta is pretty much the only one that has been in the playoffs successfully-ish the past 3 or 4 years.
Did the Hawks make the playoffs?
They did. I don't know if they did this year, but I know they did a couple years last year and the 2 years.
Not last year, because they got an early pick last
Are
year.
we ignoring the championship a couple years ago?
Yeah, well, the Cavs championship had LeBron, so.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking that.
So we're ignoring the Cavs' success.
It's the fact that there's people in place that are there that can help.
Yeah, the Hawks are set up for the future. Right?
Yeah, and they're
a solid young lineup.
Out of the top 15 picks, the Hawks are set up to help these guys the most out of the top 15 picks.
He's kind of got a point. I mean, the Hawks do have Trae Young. I mean, and Trae's very talented.
But having team success doesn't make you the best player.
Well, hold on. But John Collins... No, it might not be best player, but Ben has a point. They're going to a good situation. No. Trae Young and John Collins showed how good they're going to be.
You never said best player. You said who was going to be the most successful.
The specific question was who will be the best in the draft class.
Well, best in the draft class is easy, Zion.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, it'll be... Number-wise, it'll be Zion. But team-wise, it'll be the 2 guys that just got drafted from Atlanta, because Atlanta has opportunities to grow them more than just throwing them to the wolves and be like, have fun, don't get hurt.
Yeah, I understand that.
He's absolutely right. I mean, out of everyone that was a lottery pick, they're easily the most hopeful team. I mean, they got 2 guys here, DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, along with Trae Young and John Collins. Like, they're not going to win immediately, but that's going to be a good team if they don't mess it up. I mean, it's Atlanta we're talking about here.
But let's I kind of want to go back to the last conversation we had with the Pelicans I mean, Atlanta is just a team that's like it proved with what assets can do because of what they've been doing the past couple years. Yeah, they've been at the bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference, but they have accrued all of these assets and first round picks. And you mentioned how Trae Young and John Collins, how their success just was kind of blossoming a little bit at the end of last year. Yeah. But with adding 2 more picks, a guy that's really sound on the defensive end, and then Cam Johnson, he's a North Carolina guy, correct? Which anybody
Cam Reddish is going to the Hawks. It's
Cam Reddish, excuse me. So he's Duke. A Duke guy.
Duke guy.
Yeah. So I mean, another guy that can really shoot the three. So
I didn't show that in college.
Atlanta's really going to be a team to look out for. Just a young team that they may not make the playoffs, but they can surely cause somebody to miss out on a 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah, they're going to kick the Magic out.
They're going to annoy the Magic.
With these 2 picks, Atlanta is going to be a young team for the next at least 3 to 4 years.
Right.
And that's what you kind of almost have to look out for, because some of these other teams, you like the Warriors and
the process.
No, just the Warriors in general.
The process works, man. You can't argue against the process, because Golden State did the process, and 3 of their top 4 players came from drafting. And then,
Atlanta's process took a lot faster than Philadelphia's process. By God.
Exactly.
All right.
They still have to win.
I got another question for you guys. So we're talking about the top players and which teams are the best. So I want you to pick out 1, 2 players that are outside of the lottery. Let's do
15 plus,
20 plus. Let's do 20 plus.
That works for me. I'm going to the second round.
So 20 plus. Who's a guy that you like?
I don't know any of them.
You think will make an impact? Now,
I don't know any of them.
I don't know.
I got a guy. This guy for me, he's got a lot of off the court problems, and you've been a lot of discussion of that. But Kevin Porter Jr. This dude, I mean, he's discount James Harden. I don't think he'll ever turn into a James Harden. But watching what he did at USC, even off the bench and limited minutes, he's got clean up his act. But he's got some talent, and if he put that to, maybe he's just J.R. Smith. Right? I love J.R. Maybe he's just J.R.
Let Fitz go next.
But all right. Also, let me throw in Carson Edwards. That kid in the tournament just couldn't miss. It was insane where he was taking shots from. It reminded me of Jimmer Fredette. Just people yelling Jimmer from taking half-court pull-up shots. It was insane. Carson was a monster in the tournament. But go ahead, Fritz. Who do you think? Top 20 plus into the second round.
Even undrafted.
Yeah,
undrafted.
I mean,
we can throw an undrafted in there who's signed. You got to sign.
Yeah. I'll look at. I'll pick a guy that got drafted and a guy that is went undrafted. But I'm looking at 24, the 24th pick for the 76ers. You look at the 76ers, they're free agents. They this year they're letting go.
Yeah.
It's trade.
He's going to the Suns. He's going to the Suns.
Oh no! That might
instantly changes his pick.
Can we just touch on that? The Suns are just so terrible. I mean, I know that James Dolan is the worst owner, but whoever the Suns owner is, he's getting up there with just
the Suns owner. The problem with to never win an NBA finals.
No, but the problem with the Suns owner is as of being one of the original basketball teams, the Suns owner owns so much other stuff that the Suns are just on the back burner to make more money for the other team.
All right. Let's keep it on the players. So Fritz,
all right, then I'll just go undrafted. I'm gonna look at my boy Taco Fall, UCF center. Just a gigantic man.
The legend.
7'7". I remember going to football games and he would. There's an outdoor court right next to Spectrum Stadium where the Knights play, and I remember walking past there, beers in hand and all that, and him just playing against the freshman girls when he was a freshman, and it needed 3 girls to even reach to his height. Like, the man is just a beast. And you look at their round of 32 game against Duke, and he really made a difference with his height, just altering shots. He's not a great defender, but just because of how tall he is, makes him an even better defender. And him going to Boston, that's a pretty good spot for him, just with their history, and he can kind of take a wing. If Al Horford resigns, which people are making it sound like, he could really develop his offensive game, just kind of being mentored by him. Although, just once again, because of his height, makes it a little bit different. But I think Taco is just I hope he really has a great career in the NBA. And it doesn't get shortened with injury.
So you think we'll have a great
so you think.
career.
All right.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Bull. Get out of here. You're going to give me a center that went to the Nuggets? Like, he's going to back up behind one of the best centers in the NBA right now, an all-star. Yeah. And he averaged 21 points a game and almost 10 assists, or 10 rebounds. Almost 10 rebounds. He had 9.6.
Yeah, but he's got to play to do that.
You're telling me that guy fell all the way to 44?
He's got an injury history. They're just worried that he's not going to be able to play. That's why he fell.
Yeah.
That's why he fell.
Yeah.
They don't see him playing on the court.
If he can play,
he deserved to be in the lottery.
That is the biggest.
He fell a lot. I didn't expect him to go the second round.
How many games did he play at Oregon? 9? It was less than 10. So I understand why he fell so much.
Okay, but in the same token, I'm not comparing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing him to Kyrie Irving. How many games did Kyrie play when he was in college?
4.
Yeah,
Kyrie played 4 and was the number 1 overall pick.
I'm just saying, just because he didn't play because he was hurt, doesn't mean he won't be amazing. So,
I'm more worried about the
injuries.
School.
Yeah, he played 9 games in college. It's a little different when you're a big man. All right, but let's move on. We talked about players that.
What?
We're moving on, man. We're moving on.
What about my person?
You said you don't know anybody.
Yeah, you said you don't know anyone.
But I can find someone.
Okay, go ahead.
Nasir Little.
Nasir Little,
small forward. With what do you call it?
Can you tell me what college he's from?
North Carolina.
Oh, you got it right.
Hey.
Because he's looking at his Wikipedia right now.
No, I'm looking at the ESPN draft class. And, the reason why I did that is because he went to the Portland Timbers.
Portland what?
The Portland what?
Whatever. Portland. The Blazers. My bad. Hey, at least I got a team from Portland right. No, well, but
a trailblazer does knock down trees, so timber.
Yeah. No, but it's with him. He doesn't need to shoot up. He doesn't need to put up the 3 like he was supposed to in college.
That's the word right there.
Well, he doesn't need to because he has Damian Lillard. He has 3 or 4 guys that can.
Yeah, we'll see how long
do
they
the
stay
threes. And he doesn't. He has a great free throw percentage of 77%. So there's hopeful that he can fit it. There's hopeful he can be a
quality role player.
Yeah, and then he can grow into something that would work more than just one little quality player.
All right. So I'm gonna give you each. You get to say one name. You don't get to defend the case. Just the name.
Okay.
All right. Every year, someone in the top 5 is a bust. I want you to take someone from the top 5 and tell me who the bust will be. We already have Ben's answer.
He already said Zion. He's not
Ben says Zion. Fritz?
I'm going to go Darius Garland.
Darius Garland.
That's a safe pick. I'm going RJ.
You're going RJ?
I don't. Yeah.
Well, as the Knicks fan of the group, I'm going to have to go RJ Barrett because I know how terrible we are.
That's the reason. It's not his fault.
And I think RJ is. It's going to be like Carmelo in New York. How Carmelo was great, but no one's going to think of Carmelo's time as him being a great player in New York because all the drama and this and that. But you watch Carmelo play in New York and it was awesome. I think RJ Barrett's going to be like that. He's going to pull off some ridiculous stuff, but there's going to be no team success because.
And then he'll get one up by Linsanity.
Yeah, and then he'll get Jeremy Lin's going to come out of retirement.
Jeremy Lin's not retired. He just won a Raptors championship, okay? But Jeremy Lin's going to make a comeback to the Knicks, and he's going to one up RJ Barrett to make him feel bad, and then disappear into irrelevancy again.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think RJ Barrett.